Part 1.
I was falsely accused of SA by my sister-in-law. She destroyed my marriage, career, and reputation. 2 years later, I get justice. Hey Reddit, so I've been hesitating for a while, but now I'm finally ready to share my story. It's a long one, so buckle up. I, 36 male, met my wife Erin, 34 female, at this tech conference in Chicago about 5 years ago. I was representing my finance firm. She was there for her marketing agency. Classic meet cute where I spilled coffee all over her white blouse. Offered to pay for dry cleaning. She countered with dinner instead. And boom, that's how it all started. Erin was the total package. Smart, ambitious, funny, and we just clicked. After dating for 2 years, I proposed at the same conference where we met. Yeah, corny I know. And we got married 6 months later. Our wedding was insane. Her parents went all out since she was their baby girl. Despite having an older sister Molly, 32 female. Beautiful ceremony at this vineyard. Perfect weather. Amazing food. Erin's dad even joked during his speech that the bar has been set impossibly high for Molly now. I caught Molly's face when he said that. She looked straight up pissed. After the wedding, life was pretty sweet. Landed a huge promotion managing a team of 15 people and nearly doubling my salary. Erin was killing it at her agency too. We bought a 4-bedroom house in a nice neighborhood and took some awesome vacations we probably posted about too much on Instagram. Erin's family was super important to her, so we'd have Sunday dinners at her parents' place every other weekend. Her mom Martha treated me like her own son. Her dad Robert and I bonded over fishing. The only weird vibe came from Molly. Even though Molly was the older sister, but she was still single at 32. She'd been engaged twice, but both relationships crashed and burned before making it to the altar. Every family gathering, Molly would make these little digs about our house, my job, or our relationship. Must be nice to have such a big house to clean. Or I could never work in finance. Isn't it just gambling with other people's money? Stuff like that. Erin always brushed it off as that's just how Molly is. But I could tell there was more to it. Molly would post these passive-aggressive quotes on social media right after we shared good news. When we announced buying our house, she posted about material possessions not bringing happiness. When I got my promotion, she shared some article about toxic masculinity in corporate culture. Just weird, petty stuff. I tried to ignore it cause she was Erin's sister, but it was getting harder and harder not to call her out. Thing is, Molly had always been the golden child growing up. She was the athletic one, the pretty one, the popular one in high school. She went to a better college than Erin, had more friends, the whole deal. But then adulthood hit, and Erin started succeeding while Molly kept failing. Her career stalled. Her relationships fell apart. And suddenly, little sis was the successful one with the perfect husband. I didn't need a psychology degree to see she was jealous as hell. I tried to be nice to her anyway. Helped her move apartments once. Gave her career advice when she asked for it. Even set her up with a friend from work. Disaster, by the way. I figured if I was going to be with Erin forever, might as well try to get along with her sister. Plus, I kind of felt bad for her. Must suck to watch your younger sister live your dream life. But overall, life was good. I had the career, the beautiful wife, the house, and the respect of everyone around me. Erin and I rarely fought. We had a great group of friends, went on couples trips, hosted dinner parties. Everything was perfect. But nothing stays perfect, right? It was about 2 years into our marriage when things started getting weird with Molly. We hosted a 4th of July barbecue at our place. Nothing fancy, just family and close friends. Molly showed up 3 hours late, already tipsy, with some random dude she'd met at a bar the night before. The guy looked uncomfortable as hell. Kept checking his phone like he was planning his escape. Erin was obviously annoyed, but tried to play it cool, because that's the kind of person she is. Always keeping the peace. Always making excuses for her sister's BS. Later that night, I went inside to grab more ice for the cooler, and overheard Molly in our kitchen telling her date. Yeah, my sister likes to play perfect housewife in her perfect house with her perfect husband. It's all for show though. They fight all the time. I've heard her crying on the phone about how controlling he is. I just stood there with a WTF look on my face. Because it was total BS. YTF would she say such things? Also, Erin and I rarely fought. And I've literally never been controlling. We had a partnership, equal in every way. I wasn't about to let that slide, so I stepped into the kitchen and asked what the hell she was talking about. She got super defensive, said I was eavesdropping and controlling, proving her point to her date. The poor guy looked like he wanted to disappear. And within 20 minutes, he called an Uber and bailed. I didn't want to make a scene, so I kept quiet after that. Molly was too wasted to drive home, so she crashed in our guest room. The next morning, Erin left early for a work emergency. Some client having a meltdown over a campaign that wasn't performing, leaving me alone with hungover Molly. I made coffee and tried to have a calm conversation about what I'd heard. That's when she went off. You think you're so perfect, don't you? The golden boy who swept in and charmed everyone. My parents practically worship you. Erin thinks you can do no wrong. It's fucking exhausting watching everyone fawn all over your perfect little life when some of us are actually struggling. I kept my cool, which wasn't easy of course. I tried to be understanding because she just sounded bitter like always. Look, I get you're going through stuff. But making up lies about my marriage isn't okay. If you can't be respectful in our home, maybe you shouldn't come over anymore. She laughed in my face. You can't ban me from family gatherings. I'm actual blood. You're just the guy my sister's currently married to. That's when I lost it. Told her that this is my house that I pay for, not a family gathering spot. And she's here as a guest. And if she can't behave like one, she's not welcome. Blood or not. Then I told her to get her things and get the hell out. I said she wasn't welcome back until she could act like an adult and stop trying to sabotage her sister's happiness out of jealousy. She started crying, saying I was just like all the other men who'd mistreated her. Classic victim card. I called her an Uber and waited by the door until it arrived. As she was leaving, she turned and said, "You have no idea what I'm capable of when people cross me." The nerve she got. I told Erin about what happened when she got home. She was upset with both of us. Mad at Molly for her behavior, but also disappointed in me for kicking her sister out. I tried explaining that her sister was literally spreading lies about our marriage. But Erin kept saying, "That's just how she gets when she's stressed. And she doesn't mean it." We had our first real fight about it. I felt like Erin was choosing her toxic sister over me, and she felt like I was making her choose sides. Erin called Molly multiple times over the next couple days to smooth things over, but Molly wouldn't answer. I kind of hoped this meant she'd stay out of our lives for a while, but deep down, I knew it wouldn't be that simple. 3 days later, Molly finally called Erin back. They talked for over an hour, and when Erin hung up, she seemed strange, distant, and confused. She said Molly apologized for her behavior at the barbecue, but had also shared some concerns about me that we'll talk about it later. That weekend, Erin went to her parents' place alone, saying she needed sister time with Molly. I didn't like it, but didn't want to cause more drama by objecting. She came home late, quiet, and barely speaking to me. When I asked how it went, she just said, "Fine," and went straight to bed. The next morning, she was still acting weird, sleeping in the guest room, leaving for work early, coming home late. Every time I tried to talk to her, she'd say she was processing some things and needed space. I was getting seriously concerned. What the hell had Molly told her? That Sunday, about a week after the barbecue incident, we were supposed to go to dinner at her parents' house. Our usual family dinner thing. The tension between us had been building all week. Erin suggested we drive separately because she might need to stay late to help her mom with something. It seemed like a weird excuse, but I agreed. When I pulled up to their house, I noticed all 3 of their cars were already in the driveway. Erin, Molly, and their parents were waiting for me, all sitting in the living room with grim faces. Erin's dad, who normally greeted me with a handshake and a pat on the back, wouldn't even look at me. Her mom was sitting there with tissues, already crying about something. I stood in the doorway, completely confused. "What's going on?" I asked. Erin finally spoke up. "Molly told us what you did to her." I genuinely had no clue what she was talking about. "What are you talking about? What did I supposedly do?" I straight thought about the day I kicked her from my house. Now I thought she was just making drama about it. But what she told them was way worse. Molly started crying. These big sobs that seemed rehearsed. 2 weeks ago, when you came over to drop off those documents for Erin while she was at her conference. You know what you did? I remembered the day she was talking about. Erin had forgotten some contract papers she needed signed, so I dropped them off at her in Molly's shared apartment on my way to work. Molly had been half asleep in PJs, took the envelope, and closed the door. The whole interaction lasted maybe 30 seconds. No more. "I literally handed you an envelope and left," I said, completely baffled. "That's not all you did. You pushed your way in. You said you needed to use the bathroom. And then you..." She broke down into more sobs. Erin jumped in. She says you essayed her. In her own apartment. The accusation hit me like a truck. I literally felt like someone had punched me in the stomach. Wait, WTF? That's absolutely insane. I never even stepped foot inside. The doorbell camera would show that. Molly immediately shot back. Our building doesn't have doorbell cameras. Suddenly very precise, through her tears. Convenient, right? Robert finally looked at me red-faced. "I trusted you with my daughter. I welcomed you into our family." I couldn't believe what was happening. These people who had treated me like family for years were looking at me like I was a monster. Based on what? An obvious lie from a woman who literally threatened me a week ago. They didn't even care there was no proof. "This is crazy," I said, trying to stay calm. "Erin, come on. You can't possibly believe this. Molly's lying. She threatened me." Erin looked torn, but Molly jumped in again. "See, he's trying to make me look crazy so you won't believe me. Classic abuser tactics." Robert stood up, pointing at the door. "I think you should leave now, before I do something I'll regret." I looked at Erin, desperate for any sign that she knew this was wrong. "Erin, please. We've been together for 5 years. You know me. You know I would never do something like this." Erin wouldn't meet my eyes. She told me she needs time to think, then told me that I should stay somewhere else for a while. I left, completely shocked. That night, I called my buddy Mike, giving him the bare minimum of what happened. That Erin and I had a huge fight, and I needed a place to crash. He said I could use his couch for a few days. I didn't sleep at all that night, just kept replaying everything in my head, trying to make sense of what had happened. How could Erin believe I would do something so horrible? And how could her parents buy into this too? The next morning, I drove to our house to get some clothes, only to find all my stuff thrown onto the front lawn. Erin stood in the doorway, arms crossed. "The locks have been changed," she said. "My lawyer will contact yours about the divorce." My brain couldn't process what I was hearing. Divorce? No, seriously, Erin. We need to talk about this. Molly is lying. But shook her head. My sister wouldn't lie about something like this. I was desperate. She literally threatened me last week. This is her revenge for me kicking her out? Erin wasn't convinced. "She told me you'd say that. She told me you'd try to make her look unstable to cover your tracks." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "So you're just going to throw away our marriage based on an accusation with zero proof? After everything we've built together? I need to support my sister. I'm so disappointed of you," she said, and closed the door in my face. I stood there for a minute, completely numb. Then I started gathering my stuff from the lawn. Some neighbors were watching from their windows. Great. So the whole neighborhood got to see my humiliation. I loaded as much as I could into my car and went back to Mike's place. Thank God for Mike, man. He just helped me bring my stuff without asking questions. The nightmare was just beginning. The next afternoon, cops showed up at Mike's place. Two detectives asking if they could talk to me. They questioned me for hours about my relationship with Molly and my whereabouts on the day in question. I kept telling them I was only at her apartment for seconds, just long enough to hand her an envelope. But they kept circling back with more questions. It was obvious they'd already decided I was guilty. They didn't arrest me, but said the investigation was ongoing. As soon as they left, Mike was like, "Dude, what the fuck?